Yama Shefuna Quaba and former Pamchebeka see Royal TV so within the era Amenya me wa dakwa may share and seminal as say a day amaudia student loan a year bossian what they bought addition for our more ecosia ponwa a buying aje atum ewa hanum say betumi aboa ama addition for no womo come ahe har womo wabra womo te classroom e sua dia womo nda endwendwen ho say woni sika wodi etwa ni school fees says he can use to me boa emma one more or munima dear mo person to ma desua so nanso mu ni sika wo fie nti o muntimi nto aso no sa sika etumi eboa wo mo nam so Students Loan Trust Fund and answer SLTF 2005 no sha se eno nam so a eye adwuma wo Students Loan Trust Fund Act 820 eno nam so a etumi eboa emma adesuafo etumi enye sika editwa won school fees wa bra o how biara entumi embemu wo NPP amanyoko no mo manifesto 2020 a omo pa hontoma ewo Ghana memu hanu mu sei na ewo mu sei Students Loan Trust Fund student loan no wo mo sanso e de beba bio na emom no se de kane no wo kwa kwaji loan e de etwa wo school fees a age se wo kope enipa miensa e beginamu emma as guarantor no na se nipa kro miensa yin no wo so mo ya ban adwuma yefo a wo mo snate contributions by 36 months and sa na motimi eginamu e de ama no NPP aban no manifesto mu omo kire se enya de se sa de we Ghana for de abenwa no ehye won se bi wa omo sanso e de ababiu na emomu no ni am baye ne se adusuafo biara betimi agi loan anase bosia e de atwia ni school fees kopem se obewie wa bra ohia guarantor bia na afensu no obetimi de sika na akosuku a mfie mienu atwie no wa graduate awie no ansana watimi atwia sika no eno nam so Ghana mampanin abedi atwe Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia be pie mu Asante man kropon Kumase ewo KNUST eno enam so a wapa no guarantor students loan policy eho entoma na hye bosha wo hye Ghana fo nyina se wasan so bedi abenwa ni biwa se odisuani bi kosuapon na se wakwaje bosia enya de se obenya guarantor biara no na hye wo mu adi wo mu bosha so pa eno nam so ye kopie mu ase no mu no mu se wo odisuani na wo beji students loan bia emfa so binuma wo benya ene se wo betimi akosuku wa bra wo ndwendwen ho se bia wo ni sika a wo di twa wo school fees no so nam so ama dwendwen wo how bin so atumi afiri so wo abekwakoji loan bia no enya de se wo kosuku na wo san so twa na emom no wa graduate awie no 2 years ansa na wa hyase a se wo twa loan bio amane bo chema se wo yosuani na se wo pese koji loan bia wo Ghana card afenso a personal email address student ID e-switch card na afenso no wo phone number we any name wo behwe so a wo betime ade akwakoji loan ni bi e wo Student Loan Trust Fund wo mo abefontentan fidie so wa abradwumedie no e course wo no CEO ade ma Student Loan Trust Fund nana kwaku aje yeboa e kasa ede nsem bi atu edwa.
It fills me with pride to be part of the launch today of the no guarantor policy, which removes the most significant barrier for students who want to access the student loan. With the removal of the guarantor requirement, we have put tertiary education within the reach of hundreds of thousands of students nationwide. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not by accident that His Excellency, the Vice President, is the one launching this policy. The simple truth is that this policy could have been impossible to implement without a solid foundation built by the Excellency's digitization infrastructure. Previously, we needed guarantors to help us trace borrowers to repay the loans. Today, with the widespread use of the Ghana card and the way it is interlinked with other essential services, the use of guarantor has become superfluous in our operations. What the guarantor used to do the highly integrated national identification system can now do much better. For those who remain unconvinced, let me remind you that your phone number, residential address, tax identification number, SNIT number, as well as other things can be linked to the card. The list keeps growing larger. It is for this reason that we are super confident that the days of using Guarantor is now well behind us. As a fund, our sustainability depends on a robust recovery system, and we are grateful that the work done by the Vice President to digitize the economy is bearing fruit for us. What we at the Student Loan Trust Fund are celebrating today is just one byproduct of the system the Vice President has been building for the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, the Student Loan Trust Fund was established in December 2005 under the Trustee Incorporation Act, 1962 Act 106. The part of reforms to make tertiary education more accessible to the majority of Ghanaians, undertaking accredited programs in accredited tertiary institutions. The government of Ghana passed the Student Loan Trust Fund Act 820 in 2011 for the efficient and effective disbursement of loans to tertiary education students. The trust fund also has the responsibility to recover loans from students after completion of tertiary education. The principal objectives of the trust fund are to provide financial resources for the sound management of the trust fund for the benefit of students and to help promote and facilitate the national ideals enshrined in Article 25 and 36 of the 1992 Constitution. As we all know, education is a basic human right and an indispensable tool for national development. Tertiary education is especially critical since it provides skilled workforce that is needed to run our industries, create employment, and spearhead our drive towards industrialization and economic growth is in a fiercely competitive global environment. Since my appointment as CEO by His Excellency the President, the management has taken a number of steps to ensure that the fund is in a position to effectively deliver on its mandate. Among other things, we have, one, put in place various recovery strategies which have led to a significant improvement in the recovery rate of the fund, which has put us on a more secure financial footing. We have improved the visibility of the fund in our tertiary institutions, which has led to greater demand for the fund, for the loans.
Eno achiri aswafo a wo hwe omumesuan so ewo oman yi mu Dr. Oseyaw Adutwim wono nso ade ensem bi tudwa na ne nsem bi no kan ye nyina na se sisi ebra so se awofo omusu omuma ekosuku na omunye sika entwia omu school fees ewo suapon mu no afei di aban no beboa wo amom nso omukon mu atimi ahenhare wo.
As an alumnus of this great institution, it's an honor to come here to launch the No Guarantor policy. You know, many years ago, the World Bank and other Bretton Woods institutions were telling developing countries that don't worry about tertiary education. Tertiary education is a private good. Just focus on primary schools and junior high schools and provide your countries what they call basic education, to the exclusion of tertiary education. Consequently, various measures were implemented when we were students here. For example, when the Bangla was taken away, we used to eat for free. give you coupons, you go to a dining hall, you eat. It was taken away, and in place of that, various measures were taken by the governments at the time because the World Bank was telling them tertiary education is a private good. Other countries that did not follow this went on to improve their tertiary education system, and great innovations were brought to bear, and hence transformation in those nations. The Embraer aircraft invented in Brazil. A Brazilian university partnered with MIT, and they invented the Embraer aircraft. The aircraft that is used by our, that we all fly in, came from Brazil because they focus on tertiary education. Gross tertiary enrollment ratio, sub-Saharan Africa up to about 9%. Ghana, we recently hit 20%. And sometimes we want to compare it to the sub-Saharan Africa and say that we are doing well. No, Ghana can do better. That is why I'm happy that the president has invested so much into education, that you cannot improve your gross tertiary enrollment ratio if you don't improve your secondary enrollment ratio. So free senior high school is a means to an end and not an end in itself. But as you push the numbers at the secondary, then tertiary education should also be supported so that you can bring tertiary education to the doorsteps of everyone. How can you improve the gross tertiary enrollment ratio to 40%, as the president has talked about, if access to tertiary is blocked by loan guarantee regime? So today is a watershed moment in the history of this nation. The promises that were made in Cape Coast by the vice president is a promise that was kept. And the president led the effort, cabinet approval to parliamentary approval, and to launching today to ensure that we can open the floodgates of tertiary education to everyone in this country. That really doesn't matter which side of town you were born, rich or poor, you have access to tertiary education, and God help us if we're able to move our tertiary education to 40% and beyond. This country's transformation will become a reality. So the foundations that have been laid by this government under the leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is geared toward the total transformation of this nation. It's not a political gimmick. No, it's about, can you lay the foundation that will ensure that what the developed nations use in transforming their fortunes are what we are following. When you look at the gross tertiary enrollment ratio of all these nations that have developed, South Korea is 93.6. And during independence in 1960, their per capita income was less than that of Ghana. So everything the president is doing, the digitalization agenda pursued by the vice president, is geared towards laying a foundation for irreversible transformation of our nation, Ghana. I believe that our better days are ahead of us and not behind us. It's not about the good old days. It's the better future this president is creating, supported by the vice president. And we all exercise restraint and patience. Yes, you can criticize where you need to criticize, but begin to see the successes that are being chalked by this nation in education. And once we begin to have this hope and confidence in ourselves that we are a nation that can transform our fortunes, that self-confidence will propel us to do more, so that we have a country where we can truly say that there's a Ghanaian dream and not a Ghanaian nightmare. We are not sitting here thinking that everything can go wrong. There are times that I hear on the news people talking about something's going on in the country, and then they will blame the politician and then offer no solution. So I call it lament and lambast the politician, and the conversation ends. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo wants to change this nation. And I want all of us to support him. I want all of us to pray for him, for wisdom, and for great leadership, his great leadership, to continue, so that together the transformation that has eluded us will happen.
Kwakwa no mampanina bedi achi Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia Kasai ede ensembi atudwa seneni agye hu ye pa se enne or passage medie ne ho entuma no guarantor students loan policy aba wakasa ono so ensembi say wade to
permit me to express my sincere appreciation to all gathered here to participate in the launch of the no guarantor policy in the administration of student loan scheme, an initiative that builds on the government's comprehensive program of expanding educational opportunities for the youth. As a government, we believe in the political and social ideology which supports every individual in developing and using their abilities to the fullest extent possible. We further believe that to achieve our national developmental agenda of a Ghana beyond aid, the need to re-engineer our educational system to produce the necessary human resource base is paramount. Undoubtedly, Ghana has had a remarkable track record of pursuing human capital development initiatives, and we are seeing an increasing order of these initiatives that are more inclusive under President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Today, we gather here to build on the progress made so far and expand opportunities for the youth to access higher education. Lessons from the development trajectories of regions and countries worldwide convince us that there is a relationship or a correlation between tertiary education and economic growth. The 2021 UNESCO data shows that the rate of tertiary education is 87% in North America, 73% in the European Union, 38% in the Middle East and North Africa. In South Asia, it is 26%, and in Sub-Saharan Africa, it is 9%. So you see, some people are at 87% and we are at 9%. Evidently, regions with higher tertiary enrollment rates tend to be more developed relative to regions with lower gross enrollment at the tertiary level. Similar trends were observed at the country level. Countries with expanded tertiary education generally have seen rapid development. Ghana's current gross tertiary enrollment ratio of some 20% compares very unfavorably to 93% in South Korea, 91% in Singapore, 55% in Brazil, 44% in Mauritius, 43% in Malaysia. So even though Ghana's gross tertiary enrollment ratio is about double that of Sub-Saharan Africa, but we compare with the countries we want to be like, which is where we want to compare, then we have a lot more to do. Accordingly, government has continued to make it a priority since 2017 to expand tertiary education opportunities, implement policy initiatives and reforms in tertiary education, and support all abled youth in acquiring important skills. Indeed, President Akufo-Addo's government has proven a demonstrable commitment to building the human capital base of the country and providing educational opportunities for every Ghanaian, irrespective of economic status. Our commitment as a government is to ensure that every Ghanaian can go to school from primary through to the university with cost not posing as a barrier. This is evidenced in the bold policies we are pursuing. Ladies and gentlemen, this desire and political will and commitment to remove barriers to quality education and make it all-inclusive and accessible to all Ghanaians, rich or poor, rural or urban, is the hallmark of the new patriotic party. In 2005, in addition to implementing the free compulsory universal basic education, FQ, the government of President John Agyekum Kufuor introduced the capitation grant at the basic school level, which removed cost barriers to education by absorbing all levies paid by students. This initiative resulted in a phenomenal increase in enrollment at the basic level. Additionally, the school feeding program was introduced to cater for the food needs of our pupils in the basic schools. Subsequent to this, and in line with keeping the values and principles of our government, the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has increased the capitation grant by 120%, which we did in 2017, the first revision in 7 years. This revision was necessary as the grant amount had been reported to be very low, leading to schools levying students to meet the shortfall in funding. The increase in amount has ensured that fees and levies are reduced at the basic school level. Additionally, we've expanded the school feeding program to cover many more students. At the senior high school level, the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo introduced free senior high school education in 2017. And this policy has removed cost barriers to senior high school education, and the effect of the initiative has been phenomenal. We've seen a 50% increase in enrollment at the senior high school level. Undoubtedly, the government's policy to remove cost barriers at the basic and secondary levels of education represents the most aggressive initiative to expand education opportunities and ensure that the youth are equipped with skills that will make them more productive citizens in the future. Through our education reforms, technical and vocational institutes are now under the Ministry of Education, effective this year. Students who enroll at the National Vocational Training Institutes, Opportunity Industrialization Centers, Community Development Centers, and other public skills training institutions will benefit from free technical vocational education and training. This policy this year has resulted in an increase in enrollment by 45,000 students at technical and vocational level. We are trying to build skills because today is a job market of skills, not a market of certificates. And so people, we're trying to make sure we have world-class technical institutes to train our skilled personnel in Ghana. What we are doing in the TVET subsector is in line with our 2020 manifesto promise to reactivate the original aim of linking technical vocational institutions to technical universities to refocus technical education as the forefront of our industrialization agenda. We are aggressively pursuing this vision because we are very much in tune with the contemporary economic revolutionary theory and practice that in the pecking order of things, it is skills that matter, not certificates, for the development of nations. The government has also started the process of establishing an open university in Ghana. The Open University is planned to allow Ghanaians access to tertiary education regardless of their location. We completed the reforms to upgrade teacher training colleges to degree awarding university colleges affiliated with public universities. We also completed the process of upgrading polytechnics into technical universities. Cape Coast, Tamale, Bolgatanga, and Wa polytechnics have been upgraded to technical universities. And these upgrades were supported with significant investment to expand facilities and equip the institutions. So we are talking about access, and we come now to the no guarantor policy. Globally, loans have enabled financially challenged individuals to go through in universities and pay after graduation. After graduation, not during being in school. This need has been recognized in Ghana. Consequently, the Student Loans Trust Fund was established with a mandate to disburse subsidized loans to Ghanaians pursuing accredited programs in tertiary educational institutions accredited and recover the same after the students have completed schools. Access to loans requires borrowers to provide a guarantor. This is what it used to be, with a minimum of 36 months of contribution to the Social Security and National Insurance Scheme. You can just imagine in many of our villages finding someone around with 36 months of contribution to the Social Security. It was difficult. The evidence, ladies and gentlemen, shows that the guarantor requirement poses a barrier to access. Out of the 325,000 eligible students whose details were submitted by all tertiary institutions on the student loans portfolio, only 9.6% could access the loan in 2019-2020. Similarly, only 8.4% of eligible students could access the loans in the 2016-2017 year, and then 8.6% in 2017-2018, and so on. So you had limited access. So we promised to remove the guarantor requirement as a condition for the loan access in our 2020 manifesto. In fulfillment of this promise, the government has revised the policy, and hence tertiary students will not have to present a guarantor in order to access the student loans. So effective this school year, all eligible tertiary students will have to submit their Ghana card to access loans. I would like to thank my good friend, Dr. Ajay Yeboah, at the student loans, thank the Minister for Education, because I've been worrying them. When this idea came, and I called each of the two, and I said, look, can't we allow the Ghana card to represent the guarantor? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this promise that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo made on bringing sure that no guarantor is required has been fulfilled. I'm very, very happy. And to our cherished youth, may I say that while the government expands opportunities for you to acquire skills and become productive citizens, you also have the responsibility of ensuring the optimal utilization of these opportunities. When we were growing up, these opportunities were not available to so many people who could have accessed them and gotten better education. But today, we are making sure that the youth of this country have access to opportunities that we did not have. And you can then take it and make a life of it and maximize those opportunities. It's a great day for Ghana. On this note, it is with great pleasure and with a lot of honor that I formally launch the No Guarantor Student Loan Scheme. Thank you for your attention.
Yene NPP Communications Director Ashanti Manchemano Musi Dr. Kwesi Chei eso ebo enkomo
no so na abaso no ya de mani ti ankasa because we bed na da nipa so how we da nipa so mo pesca dia ko school na nya dia eda from say de nyina yenim no guarantor sem wo benya obi amano kwa de na ha mo wo ko we bi kura no a papa bi se gise o ye anema bi enti na ya de ye how kase e da obi a so families are ni bie no de omo de kwa de na kankan so na his excellency adawoma de wo ka che ya say student loans no guarantor the year na say wonya admission letter na fe wo de Ghana card na to so na fe wa say why there wo de akọ Ghana loan trust na ni mo na distance so be yentem because we must set online portals bia and also so adwuma it be nim say see baby ad na dun de ya de pa e was your boys excellency na na do dan kwa ekofo ado na Dr. Bawumia e bo ma ba so much me this adwen kase we aba na students na so be transe ne timi esua de wabra onwene ho se ne ma menya skama na se ne papa nya bebi nya de environment ya ni jida kase pa de ma o manga na nyina LPP policies no effective obia any policy yi be film effective obia. This is one example of a good policy my students no etimi atwa so from junior secondary school senior high school what they are by university na just say additional no ne mo we SS no want me nya scan to aso a na just say jumo ye ni na no fa so obia maso it's a better present as na do bibia se nya da mo so ase
kwakwa wo hwe adesuafo a wo mo enso be pie mu e wo dwumedi na se o se ene jama wo mo hye e de fa se dwumedi yi hu ene nia aban no e de aba no enya asem kitakra e wo e honomo Ebusia kase no asi midinjera amanyamewa dakwa na afens no cameraman enso eye Mr. Bans da say ema mo ani hwe anitia adehye